by comparison at even supply, and still, well, you guys will see. I'm not going to give the results away, but so at this point, I think we're pretty. It's pretty obvious that just Zergling was working pretty well against the Stalkers. So that the problem really comes with this Protoss composition, and the Stalkers are just a very, very core part of it, very dynamic and integral part. And so it feels like, because obviously there's more Stalkers here than anything else, it feels like the Stalkers are what you're losing to, when in reality you're losing to the support units with the Stalkers. Would you agree to this assumption?
Yeah, I agree fully. And I'm going to rewind for a quick tiny bit.
Okay.
Just to get back to that battle as it's starting. And this time it was a little screwed up. I was trying to get the infestors in first to get some fungals off. And
I did have some pretty good force fields here. Those are pretty ideal force fields that you want.
Yeah, really good force fields, and the blink, and
yeah.
But still, corrupt. The Colossi being taken care of pretty well right now.
Yeah.
One's neuroparasited. Second one is almost down, trying to target fire with the Hydras.
And I'm not even firing with my units right now.
Yeah.
So because I moved them to try to kill the corruptors. And I'm doing a little bit of blinking, but mostly right now it's just cleanup at this point for the Protoss. For me, really. So clearly, there's a lot going on there, a lot more stuff happening, I feel like.
Yeah, there's fungal growths going off, neuroparasites going off,
but the result is pretty
off.
much still dramatically the same.
And still, Zerg could have won that battle. Not won it, but come out a little more in the head with better micro, yes. Target firing a little more quickly, the weakest Colossi.
Mm-hmm. But the force fields do make it pretty hard for you to do that.
Yeah, they make it extremely hard. But still, it's one of those things where we're at the point of being like, okay, well, Zerg could maybe even that out a little bit.
Yeah, but still incredibly micro-intensive for you.
Yeah, but if anything goes wrong for the Zerg, that's it. You lost your army.
Yeah.
And we kept thinking like, it shouldn't be this way. Like, seriously,
There's
like, it shouldn't have
something.
to be this micro-intense. It's sick. So I think we tried. Did we just try that a few more times?
I think we did.
Because we wanted to try
we
get
did.
The micro
We did
right.
one more. We did one more of the same thing. I think because you said let me try again because you thought that you microed poorly and you thought you could do a better job with a micro. Yeah. Actually, so we even account for the fact that the micro is pretty bad on the MacBook.
Yeah.
I think you definitely build more corruptors this time. It looks like than last time.
Well, no, I have about pretty much. I'm going on the rule of about 3 corruptors per every Colossus, because you don't want to sink too much money into the corruptors since they're not good for anything else.
Yeah, they can't transition to broodlords. So this time, I added one additional thing to the composition. I added 2 High Templars, because Guns Akimbo have been having and I have been having this debate of his answer to this Protoss Ball
is me neuroparasiting High Templar and using Storm.
Well,
that's the answer.
No, yeah, that's okay. Totally that's your dream come true.
Yeah.
But no, is that the thing that I think is the most threatening out of what he's attempting here is the infestors, because I feel like a good fungal growth on the Stalkers or even on the Sentries plus neural parasite on the Colossus could swing this in the Zerg's favor dramatically in the right conditions. So the High Templar there are really just for feedback onto the infestors. The idea being that with 2 High Templar you can neural feed you can feed back I think 8 times or something like that.
Wow.
Enough to kill 8 infestors, basically.
Okay.
So keep an eye on the infestors.
But I neuroparasited your High Templar. I was trying to cast Storm, but I was
that was
confused.
good clicking, but I actually did kill that infestor before you could even do
with
anything.
the MacBook, I couldn't get anything done.
Watch the infestor.
Yeah.
I want to see my nice...
Ooh, that was quick.
Yeah.
It was so quick. And this, again, is pretty poor micro. The Corruptors came in so late. Corruptors really should have led.
So the infestors are pretty much dead now.
Everything's dead.
The Corruptors are going to kill the Colossus pretty well, but then die pretty strongly to everything else. I didn't really need the Storm down. So.
And again, it was funny how it's a second attempt to get micro right with my little handicap, but it just went so wrong.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what the next experiment is. I'm not sure if we try that again on this.
I don't know what we try again at this point.
We had one more thing going on.
We did do something else here, didn't we? I think.
Well, you did the whole thing of.
I ran. Well, basically, I ran out of money. We literally have mined out every position on the map right now. So I ran out of money at some point, and I decided that I was gonna,
Instead of starting the map over, that we're gonna really go hardcore.
and I was gonna build a shuttle, build a warp prison.
Oh, this is what we try next. We're like, okay, well, you know, Zerglings really went great against the Stalker, so let's do Zergling Corruptor.
Pure Ling Corruptor against pure Stalker plus Colossus. The idea was that all those other support units like the Few Zealots, the Sentries, whatever, yada yada yada, that those are all skirting around the real problem, which is that what's killing you here is the Colossus and the large group of Stalkers. So the idea was, you know, let's use something that's really good against the Stalkers, the Zerglings, and something that's really good against the Colossus, the Corruptors, right? I'm so ghosty, right?
And this is something you should do in every single game that you play.
You should even do this at 8x speed, actually.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought I was at 8x.
This is so I can afford to get a Nexus at the island, basically.
This is when I went to walk the dog I'm watching.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that you put yourself through this instead of just starting being like, hey, can we start over?
Well, I mean, we already had invested an hour and a half into this game at this point.
Yeah.
And I knew you were tired, so I wouldn't want to like suggest we do a new map, even though we end up doing another map.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was my solution to that problem. It takes a long time to do this. I was like doing the math in my head while this was happening of like, will it be faster if I build another warp prism and spend 200 of my minerals that I've gotten on another warp prism, and then go twice as fast for the 400 again? And I decided that it was just too much math.
How many more trips? Yeah, man. Hope you get it this trip.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah.
A programmer ain't pro unless he does this every game. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my story.
It's a good story.
So the actual thing that we realized from doing these experiments is that if you can use up all the minerals on the map and force the Protoss to have to long distance mine from an island, a Zerg could probably win.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how the Zerg's supposed to win, I think.
That's how you beat the Stalker Ball.
Yeah. Okay, so finally about to, I think, finish warping in now.
Yeah.
And what do I have for army? I have I threw in 2 infestors just to be like, all right, let's still have those for the mix. Maybe get a neural parasite, maybe stop the blink.
I hope this episode isn't boring for you guys, because I think at 2 hours at 4x speed, it's already what, a half hour?
I don't know.
I
think this episode is boring for people who don't care about this issue.
Yeah.
But for people who do, it's probably only partially boring.
Yeah. But it gets more interesting actually in game 2 when we really start to test some conclusions.
Yeah.
This is more just like trying to figure out exactly what's going on with this. So here comes the Ling, and I accidentally killed that creep tumor. That was not deliberate.
Yeah.
So this is pure Ling.
Pure Ling, Corruptor. And 4 infestors
and
in the mix.
Some infestors. Okay.
So I wonder when this happens, and
It's got to be pretty soon, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
It took me so long just to prepare crappy micro on a MacBook laptop.
Yeah. And I mean, also, you got to think, like, in a real game, how applicable are these tests, too? Because look how much the Zerg is spreading out in different locations, you know, putting stuff in hidden corners and stuff like that. Like, a lot of times in real games, you're not going to have time for that. And he did mess up a little bit with not leading with the Corruptors. We actually do another test in the next game, beginning of the next game, where he leads with the Corruptors.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, you could see that it's not that good. It's not that good.
Honestly, but to be honest, I feel like this could have
been better. This could have been better.
This could have been almost equal.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is a bad solution. If I had led with the Corruptors, at least 2 of the Colossi would have fallen.
Yeah.
Off the bat, and with the Infestor, another one would be taken out. So it almost would have been even, but it's still, again, it's micro heavy.
I feel like the problem becomes, even when you lead with the Corruptors, which is what we see in the next test, in the next game, is that it still becomes this problem of, yeah, Corruptors are really good against Colossus, and Zerglings are really good against Stalkers, but at the same time, Stalkers are really good against Corruptors, and Colossus are really good against Zerglings.
Yeah.
So even leading with the Corruptors, it's kind of like, let me fly my Corruptors into a large group of Stalkers. That's going to go well. And
but at the same time, if the Corruptors are hitting at the same time as the Zerglings are,
I think you really need to have
that's
perfectly coordinated at the same exact moment of impact.
That could technically even you out in a battle.
Right. And I also think getting good fungals is key if you're going to use that solution because, like we see, I think in the next example we don't. You can load it up. In the next example we...
I can't.
Why?
Will perhaps keep going? All right, we'll see. Keep talking.
Let's just cut here.
We'll cut let's see. Let's see.
Why are you doing this to me? Now I'm self-conscious.
I don't know.
Cut.
Is this the second one?
Just cut.
No. I want to keep going, man. All right, hold up.
So anyway,
I think we're still on. If we're not, we're gonna lose so much.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's still red.
Anyway, yeah, it is still red. That's cool. You guys don't know what we're talking about. So anyway, I think the point that I was trying to make is that in this example you don't build the infestors, and that because of that, I think it's even more one-sided because without the infestors, fungal growthing the stalkers, that they are definitely able to fight well against the corruptor zergling mix.
Wait, so you're saying
in this next example you do the same thing that you just did except without the infestors?
Yeah.
And it's not as good.
Yeah.
Was my point.
I don't remember exactly how that.
I just have a good memory.
Yeah, well, you have a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things about you, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I have a lot of love in my heart.
You do, and yeah.
And in your Jew dick
thing. I never heard someone say Jew dick before.
It is. It's my Jew dick.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah.
Are you sure I don't go infester?
I think
because I do got the pit here.
Yeah, I think you build the pit.
Yeah.
But I don't think you build the racers.
Oh, and I forget also, at the end of the last one, I was going cracklings. With the once we switched over to pure Ling and Corruptor, I switched up to crackling from speedling to crackling. Which, if you don't know what crackling is, it's when you have the 20% attack bonus. Yeah. So we built up for a while here, but still we're at the point of being like, okay, well, even with the micro being completely poor, and the timings being a bit off, it's still a bit of work, and in a live scenario, it's still a bit tough to pull off.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the whole scenario greatly favors the Protoss because of how much the Zerg has to put into it.
Yeah.
In terms
how
of
lazy
effort.
it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like with the Protoss, with some sentries, microing well, putting effort into choosing a good position, I feel like it's going to be monumentally much harder for the Zerg to do that.
Yeah, and it's the same problem I feel like that Zerg has against Terran Mech. It's the same thing of like, la 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 la, we got a big ball, let's walk around and kill. And Zerg's like, oh my god, so much effort.
Yeah.
So it's still the quest to find, is there a hard counter? Is there something that Zerg can just do?
Because really at this point we were thinking like, that there's really nothing like, okay, so what I was just, actually I think I was saying this to you at the time, at about this time, is that if there's no cost efficient solution on microed, then really the only thing that you can do as Zerg against the Protoss is to be up in supply.
Yeah.
You have to out expand them and out macro them. Which if that's the solution, it's good to know, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. But we were trying to figure, is there an actual better solution than that? Something that you can do at even supply. This made me really sad because that
was accidental.
That shuttle was like, that was a neutral shuttle.
Yeah, sorry. It was like killing the Red Cross.
Yeah, totally not called for.
Yeah, sorry, man.
It's okay. That's why I won this next battle.
How do we know that?
I don't know. This is a live test, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I forget if I screwed this one up too. It's such a mess. We're such messes.
Your corruptors are in the other place.
Yeah,
no,
we're not fighting.
That was an accident. That was because I let my Colossus get a little too close to Guns Akimbo Zerglings, and they sort of taunted them into the fray. That was for the Warp Prism.
Yeah.